How's everybody doing today? My name is Mr. G. I'm the automotive instructor for Porter & Chester's automotive department. I'd like to talk about a couple items that pertain to safe winter driving. One of them being the battery, the other one's going to be the tires, and ultimately we're going to finish it up with the wiper blades. When it comes to batteries, it's always very important to make sure that our terminals are properly cleaned and maintained. That's what provides the current to flow from the battery to its components, one of them being the starter, which is going to help you, assist you in starting the vehicle when you first start it. The other one's going to be the alternator, which is going to recharge or maintain the battery after the vehicle's been started. There's a tag on the battery that's very important. It's that one that lists the cold cranking amps. And what the cold cranking amps are, it reflects on the load and amperage for 30 seconds, or maintaining that amperage for 30 seconds while the vehicle is being cranked over. And it doesn't allow the battery voltage to drop anything below 7.2 volts. If our battery tests fine, that's going to be the first step that we're going to take as far as preventive maintenance when it comes to winter driving. This particular battery here has what we call, it's a serviceable battery, so we can remove those vent caps and check the electrolyte level to make sure it's within specs. So now we're going to move on to our tires. And not only is it important to make sure you have the proper tire pressure, but also make sure that your tires are not outdated. Most tires have a life expectancy of about 6 years, and that can be found on the sidewall of the tire. All you have to do is follow the DOT number, and there's going to be a 4-digit code that follows it. And this particular tire, it was made on the 10th week of the year 2019. So that means this tire is 5 years old. Still has 1 more year of life expectancy to it. But not only is the tire manufacturing date important, but also the tread depth. So we're going to take a tool that's called a tread depth gauge, and we're going to measure the depth of the tire itself. We don't want it to be any less than 230 seconds. If it's less than 230 seconds, the tire would have to be replaced. So those are two major important components: batteries to make sure you get the vehicle started, tires to make sure you can accelerate, have traction, and also braking. So not only is it important to make sure that the tire is not outdated and we have enough tread life, but also make sure that we have the proper amount of air. And that can be found inside the door jamb, and it's usually labeled right there, and it'll have tire pressure when the vehicle's tires are cold, meaning that the vehicle has not been in operation for at least the last 2 miles or 15 minutes. We covered the battery, we covered the tires. Now we're going to work on the wipers themselves. Take a look at the wiper blades. A lot of vehicles, you could just lift up the arm itself, run your hand across the surface of the wiper that makes contact with the windshield to see if you feel any kind of roughness or maybe even pieces of rubber missing. If you do, then it's time for these wipers to be replaced. Also with a telltale sign of streaks being left up on the windshield. Give you an example, we have a wiper on this side of the vehicle here that needs to be replaced. You can see that the rubber is actually almost completely gone on this. And you want to make sure you address it before it becomes a problem and start scratching your windshield. So batteries, tires, wipers, very important. And I just want to fill you in with a little fun fact as far as the tires go, to make sure that you understand that for every 10 degrees of temperature that it drops overnight, say if we start out the day at 50 degrees Fahrenheit and overnight it drops to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, you lose 1 pound of PSI pressure for every 10 degrees that temperature drops. So that would be a 2 PSI, possibly even 3 PSI drop in pressure, which can cause your tire pressure light to come on. Just something to think about. Enjoy the rest of your winter and safe driving. Thank you.